Okay, so welcome to our third class. It took us 5 minutes like 10 minutes to get it done, to get it connected, but we're here. And then, why is it so small? Whatever. This class, we will just go over some basic guidelines for consumer grade FDM printers, as well as just a general introduction to 3D printing. So what is 3D printing? Can we hide this? 3D printing is an additive manufacturing process that creates 3D dimensional objects from 3-dimensional digital information. And then 3-dimensional digital models are sliced into many 2-dimensional cross sections that are then printed one on top of each other. And then there are a lot of different 3D printers. Some are subtractive manufacturing process, and you can see some in Jacobs, mainly CNCs, milling, and then they're usually considered a separate group. We don't really call them 3D printing, but there are a lot of them. And then what is FDM? So FDM means fused deposition modeling. It's the most common consumer grade 3D printer. It's most likely you guys will be using FDM in a lot of occasions, and they're relatively cheap and accessible. I think there are a few FDMs that cost like $100 on Amazon, and you can just get it and print something at home. And the general process is just first you start with a 3D model. You can just model it in Fusion, other 3D software like Rhino, and then scan an object with a 3D scanner. That's pretty easy. And then also you can just download it from sort of like things.com or Thingiverse. Yeah, and then 3D printing software will slice the model into many cross sections. And here is just a demo, a sketch. And this is just a, I guess, simplified diagram of 3D printer. There are a heated bed underneath. So when something is printed, the bed will adhere to that stuff. And so you generally want to have a flat bottom because of that. And then you also want to zero out all the XYZ axis before printing. We can watch a quick video. Oh, okay. Huh? I think I just omitted them. Yeah. So as you can see in a consumer grade 3D printer, you can generally see like the printing process in a model. Why? All right. So yeah, there's a lot of lines in this cross sections, and then I think this small object took about 12 hours to print. So keep in mind, 3D printers are time consuming. So yeah. So before sending your model to printers, we have to take a lot of considerations, precautions. before that, just because you don't want to waste your time and money in this process. So where can it go wrong? And we list a set of considerations for you to think about. First is the layer resolution. So 3D printer usually print in 0.2 or 0.3 milliliter layer height. And so when you're designing, the minimum feature size should be no less than 0.4 milliliter. Anything less than that will not print and will result in a failed print. So generally, make sure you have thick walls, which means at least 0.4 milliliter thick, no like paper thin that won't get print. And then when it comes to overhangs, follow the 45-degree rule. If an overhang is greater than 45 degree, you have to consider supports. By supports, I mean supporting materials. This is a demo of failed horizontal overhangs because no support material, a lot of overhang, 90 degree, I think. Yeah, and when you do want to do that, do you want to do the overhang or bridging? We have some tips for you. First, decrease the printing temperature. So when you are printing, as the right diagram can show, when you're printing in a lower temperature, your prints will less likely to fail. And also, you can probably decrease the flow rate, increase cooling, meaning increase the fan speed, or place something cool next to the printer. And yeah. And you also can consider adjust the printing orientation. And some general rules, just pick which side of the part will be printed first. And you want to pick a flat face with no invalid overhangs or bridges, and minimize valid overhangs and bridges when you're choosing your orientation. And if that print really has no flat bottom or faces, just cut it in half and print in 2 parts. Yeah, so for this shark fish, you want to cut it in half. Okay, so now we're having 2 prints, tall print and long print. Which orientation, yellow or red? Anyone? Yellow, yeah, correct. And then if you really don't have an option to cut or find a really nice spot, consider support material. It allows you to print invalid overhangs, bridges, or lumpy bases at the cost of surface quality and requires efforts to move. So some requires a high pressure water gun, and others just requires a lot of patience, I guess. And in a lot of cases, support materials difficult, impossible to move. You really need to get like into the model. And there are also dissolvables of support material, and are just generally a nicer printer, but yeah, that's expensive and I guess hard to find. So we have some basic checklist, minimum resolution, 45-degree rule, flat bottom, or slice the body in half, thick walls, minimal support material, and really consider your printing orientation. So when we really want to make something quick and say we want to mock up in 5 minutes, but how do we do that? You don't mock up, you don't model it. You just can go to these Thingiverse or things.com and download the file. And in today's class, we will try to do that. I guess I'll send this link to Slack. And yes, this slide will be posted in a class driver. just download this file from Thingiverse. I don't think you need to log in, but you can. This is an iPhone 13 case made by Dunks 03 STL, and it is and when you finished downloading, open Fusion. Are we all finished? If you're not, raise your hand. All right, so now let's insert the file. So when you, okay. When you want to insert some STL file, you want to use this insert mesh button under insert. And then find your file, open, and change this to millimeter. It's like the standard industrial unit. And then in this section, you can flip up direction. So you want to make your phone case standing on the canvas and then center it, move to the ground. So it's not a negative underneath the canvas, something. Okay, so now you really want to edit it, but you can see it's a mesh and it doesn't allow you to do many things. If you want to extrude, it doesn't work, right? So here, to convert the mesh to a solid body in Fusion, you can generate face groups first, and then convert it. So first we will click this and just leave all the settings, choose the accurate one, click OK. And it will take some time. Mine is done. All right. And the next step is to convert mesh. We want to convert these tiny little triangles into one single flat bottom. How do we do that? So, okay, question? Yeah, okay, all right. So for the last step, we just did this generate face groups. Okay, question? All right, I'll try that. Or maybe you can look at that screen. Yeah. I think I messed up again. All right, for some reason this is not working. But we can look at these two screens, I guess. Okay. Okay, we will go back to the very first step. So first you want to insert this mesh. And when you're inserting, here is a button, flip up direction here. You click on that. It automatically flip. And then you can center it and then move to the ground. And here you are having this phone case in center, standing alone. Are we all good on that? If you're not, raise your hand. Okay, and also make sure you're using the millimeter unit, because in a lot of industrial design, they use the mm. Okay. And then to prepare this mesh, click on this generate face groups under the mesh tab. Make sure you're under the mesh tab. If you're under the solid or surface, you won't be able to find that. Click on that and choose the accurate type. Leave the boundary tolerance as it is right now. And click on OK. I'll click. If you want to use the millimeter, I think it's 0.0001. Choose that. Yeah. Yeah. And now we're done with that, right? If you're not, raise your hand. Okay, I'll wait for a second. What question? Are we all good with this step? If you're not, raise your hand. Okay, we will continue. So for the next step, what you want to do is go to modify, and then we will convert this to mesh. And then for this one, you want to choose the prismatic, the second option, parametric as well. So for the parametric, it will retain all the process bar, but then for the base feature, you will lose that. So choose the first one and click OK. Again, wait for a second. And now you will have a editable phone case. Interesting. Sorry. So for the second step, you want to go to modify. Under the mesh tab, there is modify, the largest section. And then go down to the convert mesh option. Click on that. Choose the parametric operation as well as the prismatic. And select body, select the phone case. And I'm just not gonna select it. And click OK. Are we good with that? Okay, if we're all set, I will go to the next step. Next thing, we want to make a copy of this. We want to make two of different phone cases. To do that, we want to go to the solid tab. And then you see how there is a move copy button. Click on that. Make sure you are moving / copying the bodies. And click on your body. Say we want to create a copy. Enter OK. Okay, sure. So we're just making a copy of this phone case. Just make sure you go to the solid tab and then choose copy modify from modify tab and create a copy. So for the next one, for the next step, we want to make the two phone cases different. And by that, we will add credit card pockets to one of them. And for the other one, we'll just let it remain this form. Okay, so to add the pocket, we're going to create sketch on top of this bottom face. So click on that. And just create a 2-point rectangle, like the one we did last class. Just simple rectangle. And once you're done with that, finish sketch. And because it's a card case, we want to make a pocket, meaning a card can insert in the pocket. So extrude, we want to extrude first. So there's the volume. And you can choose new body or join, doesn't matter. I'll choose new body here. So here we have a pocket, but we don't have a hole. How do we do that? So what we want to do is to create another sketch from the top. Create sketch, and then select this face on top. And draw another rectangle. Like this. So it's a smaller rectangle within the larger one. And then select this smaller surface. And click on extrude, but like cut it. Change your operation to cut instead of drawing or a new body. And then you can see the red part is the part that's gonna be removed. And here we have a card case on the back of the iPhone. And just for some fun, round out the edges using the fillet tool. And now we have two phone cases. few different phone case. Mhm. Are we all having the pocket? Okay, so for the next step, before that, please go on Google and search for an image you like, or two images actually. So probably pattern 2. And then I like this one. Or this one. Save that. Yeah, in JPG or PNG, either works. once we have the image, we want to do a quick mockup, which means we want to put the image on the phone case using a tool called Decal. Yeah, literally Decal. Under Insert, and here was the image I just downloaded. When you're inserting, you want to select the face. And the image will pop up on your phone case. And here you can see there are different operations you can take for that sticker, decal, image. This one, the one on the corner, is a enlarge tool. So you can make it very large or just small, I guess. You can also move it. So try to show like the pattern you want using the move tool. And you can see how this image is wrapping the phone case, right? To avoid that, try the chain face tool on the left on the bottom of your window. Unclick that. And here you just have the image on the back of your phone case. And then once you have this cute little phone case, try another one with your pocket phone case. Decal, insert. For this one, I'll use this avocado image. So you want to enlarge it to the point where it covers all up. And you have an avocado phone case. You can also insert a different decal for the pocket. I'll try the peach. That's ugly. And now you should have two different cute phone case. And any questions, please raise your hand. Yeah. Sure. Okay, I'll just go over the full thing. So for this step, we want to insert a sticker or an image to the phone case. And to do that, use the decal function and choose insert from computer. Choose a image you like. Click on this thing, the phone case, and then so the chain face box is just make sure your image is on a single face instead of the whole model. When you choose that, the image is only on the single bottom face. But if you could select that, it's going to be all over. And some might be messed up because this is converted from mesh. So okay, once we are having to and then under the decal tab, you can also select like show or unshow the image. So you can sort of experiment with different effects. If you, check on track. There might be a mix of different images. And you can choose from like which matches which the best, stuff like that. And now we have our colored prototype. How do we make it more realistic? For this, we want to go to the render tab. And then click on scene settings. It's basically a sphere within a corner. Click on that. And set background to environment. So now it should be displaying a default studio environment. There is a studio light, and here is a background. To make a more realistic environment, we want to go to environments library and just try different natural environment. Here, I want to try this plaza. So click on plaza and drag it to the window. And now you have phone case standing on the plaza. or you can move it to the sky. I also like this snow field. And then say you want to save this image, just click this capture image button and choose the right quality you want to have, high res or low res. Save it as a PNG. Cases. And then on desktop, you can see the image. If you have questions, please raise your hand. Oh, okay. I'll just show the attendance first. Not this. And if you have filled in the attendance form and feel good about this lecture, feel free to leave.